Good morning, Southern Colorado. Thank you for coming on to another episode of Gridlock and Gridlines. Today we have two very special guests coming from the San Luis Valley. We have San Luis Valley Transportation, Red Willows in the house. And our friends here are Mark and Kendra. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves and just, a little something about yourselves, and then we'll go off and run away with it.
My name is Kindra, and I am the owner of San Luis Valley Transportation in Alamosa, Colorado. And we service the San Luis Valley, which has 6 counties in it. We provide local and long distance medical service, and I've been doing this for 27 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
I'm Mark. I'm the executive director for SLV Transportation. I have been with the company coming up on 8 years now.
Nice.
I spent a year on the road before I moved into the office, and
nice.
so I'm familiar with what our drivers deal with and how to help them better when we need to.
Oh, that's great to hear. Day in, day out. From I don't want to say from the bottom up, but you worked your way up there. That's great to hear to have that experience. And for everybody watching, we do have the vice president here with us, Ashley Ritt. Welcome to the show as well.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Ashley Ritt. I've been with Golden Gate Manor Transportation 10 years this May.
Oh, that being said, let's just jump into this bill and get into it. And we'll sort of just go down the row here.
Okay.
And let's just kick it off. Let's discuss this new bill for non-emergency medical transportation. Ashley, how are you feeling about this new non-emergency medical transportation bill?
So our state bill 2663,
Yes.
I am very excited for it, and I'm sure our friends down in San Luis Valley are too. Our main goal here is to keep our rapport with our clientele. We want to run independently. We want to be able to take our own calls. We want to be able to do our own in-house billing. We want to run the show the way we've been running it. Our bill, the bill 2663, is going to ensure our clientele to keep the same relationships with the providers that they have, and it will ensure that our employees in our community will be able to retain their employment, which I think are two very important and positive things that will guarantee in our bill.
Right, especially in Southern Colorado, we're so tight knit community, and our families are first, but
Yep.
so are our clients too, especially in the business that we do. Priorities,
Priority for sure. And I mean, just like, we've talked with Kendra and Mark before, they've been in business for so long and those
Yeah.
clients depend on them. They're used to them. They're used to their customer service people just like ours are. Why should they have to change to make the broker or healthcare policy and finance job easier? Why should we have to change
Right.
everything for them?
Right.
You know?
And I'm glad we have our special guest here with us, so we
Me
can
too,
get your
me too.
guys' perspective instead of just
Just
local
here in
Pueblo.
Pueblo. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like really how this is going to affect you guys down in the rural
Right.
areas as well. So
Yeah.
this is really good. With that being said, Kendra, if you sort of want to harp on the new non-emergency medical transportation bill just a little bit too, or just want to throw in your 2 cents if you wish, or so to speak, just because you're our neighbors too, you're our friends too.
The rural is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel similar to what Ashley feels. My most important thing,
Yeah.
and the thing that worries me the most right now, is my clients receiving the service that they need. They are used to our service. We are basically family with everybody. We treat them as our own, those clients, and it would just be very, very sad for them not to be able to have the rapport
Right.
and the confidence that they do in us.
Right.
I mean, some of those clients have been with me for 25 years, and that's a long time. It's a lot of confidence placed in our company. And I feel that um, if if things don't go correctly, our clients are going to suffer, and my staff is going to suffer. And in the San Luis Valley, jobs are very hard to find. I have staff that has been with me for 27 years. It would be very difficult for them to find another job. We bring dollars into our community,
Right.
we bring employment into our community, and we transport those clients that are desperately in need of medical care.
Day in and day out too, and
Day in,
you
day
guys
out.
have each other's back, so I can only imagine being out there in those rural areas too, where working with each other for over 20 years. That's just how it is, and you guys have to scratch each other's backs. And I couldn't imagine to, tell your clients or just to tell your people that work for you, like, sorry, don't know what you're gonna do, don't know how you're gonna provide food on your table. Like, come on, guys. Like, how are we gonna ever, reciprocate or tell that to many families, especially down in the San Luis Valley? Like, that's not okay. That's not okay.
No, it's
Any
not
way, shape,
okay.
no form.
No.
Any way, shape, no form. Who have you contacted from Medicaid, and have they been helpful? My apologies, Ashley.
That's okay. I will answer the question first from our perspective here at Golden Gate. We have made contact with multiple people there. We were told one thing, but pretty much the exact opposite is happening.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we were told that we would be getting paid in a 90-day turnaround time, max 90-day. At this point today, we have trips and claims that we billed for
Yes.
the trips that we ran from October. I know,
Uh,
October, that we still haven't been paid for. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of unpaid trips. We are not getting paid in a timely manner. I will say if we can't have HIPAA, HCPF do their due diligence with Gainwell Technologies to pay us in a timely manner, how are we going to do that with a broker? It's not going to work.
it's not.
It's
It's
gonna
not.
work.
It's not. And I'm glad you're getting on these details just due to the fact that this is the realities that we're
Yeah.
faced with.
I will say AW, my contact at HCPF, the information that he has provided to us is one thing, but it doesn't follow through. I don't know if you guys at Red Willows are having that same issue with the same people, but our questions aren't getting answered and their fulfillment of their responsibilities aren't getting done either.
We're in the same
Yeah.
boat. Emails are going unanswered, or if they're answered, it's so vague. And some of the reasons they've given us for quote unquote rejection of our
Mhm.
billing are just absolutely ludicrous. I mean, we didn't circle AM or PM.
I feel that.
It's a little
Uh,
outlandish if you think
it's
about it.
really,
Yeah.
I mean, we have to note the times for pickup and drop off for
Right.
every client. That's fine. I understand that.
Yeah.
But if we picked a client up at 9 o'clock and we took them 2 blocks away, it was AM for both of them.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be, you don't need to flag it for that. That's
One of the
ridiculous.
problems that Golden Gate was having was the zip codes. So we picked them up in, one zip code. We dropped them off in another zip code. The zip code's required in 3 spots. We put it in 2 spots, but 1 spot was omitted. The whole claim was denied because they couldn't look back and see what was already on the others. But then some of them would go through with no zip codes. So there's no rhyme or reason or pattern per se of how the billing is getting put through.
It sort of feels like whoever's doing the billing, if you sort of hope they're in a good mood,
Right.
or they're
Oscar,
not in a
that's
bad mood.
correct. It's almost like depending on what person is doing your billing that day will depend if you get paid or not.
Right.
And that's unfortunate.
That seems a little outlandish from my perspective.
It really does. Yeah.
I am in agreement with Ashley on everything she said.
Thank
The
you.
one thing that I would like to also say is that when this was implemented by HICPUF and that we were demanded that this is how we do things from now on, I feel that they should have hired or done something to train their staff,
Yes.
hired more staff, did whatever they had to do. They're
Absolutely.
requiring us to do this,
Mhm.
but they're not upholding their end of the responsibility, which therefore is dwindling down to us who provide this service, who hit the pavement every day,
Yep.
who
Yeah.
try to figure out how to make it work.
Day in and day out.
Yep.
And they're not doing their part,
Nope.
nor have they ever done their part.
Agreed. And going off what Kindra just said as well, when she's talking about the training for their own workers, why don't they give us providers some training?
Agreed.
Give us a workbook. Give us a slideshow. There are so many different opportunities so that every organization can be on the same page. Because if one person's doing one thing and their stuff's going through, or one company and another company is not, is that because there's a target on our backs?
Right.
Or is that just because negligence of the person who's billing? You know what I mean? It's all black. It's
It-
not black or white. It's gray. The whole process.
They tend to hand us these forms to fill out and give us no guidance on how to do it. And often especially in our area,
Yeah.
the form doesn't really work for what we're doing.
Agreed.
And we
Right.
had to make some adjustments to the form.
Mhm.
They've never complained about it. In fact, actually, I think at one point they said we could go ahead
Adjust
and
it.
make some minor modifications as long as we weren't taking away data.
Right.
We were
Right.
adding
Okay.
more data into it. And but yeah, why are they not and I don't know, they don't seem to ask our opinion how it's going to affect us.
Assume.
They just hand it to us and say go without any explanation, without any, and then when you don't fill it out right, then they say, well, you didn't fill it out right.
Right. Where's your
Of
guide?
course we didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't tell us how to fill it out right.
It's
Right.
sort of like they're giving us this packet, and then we're in the fog, and it's like, all right, navigate, and you can't see anything in the fog. You're just gonna have to go and sort of figure it out, and it's just like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on.
And one thing too is that they'll deny a claim for a very broad reason,
Yeah.
but they're not telling you exactly why that claim was denied. Oh, it's just denied.
There's no details in
Right. So you're
It's
just not going to
just-
get paid.
Oh, thank you.
And
And
you
when-
you try to call somebody up there to get some help.
Nope. And they only let you ask 5 questions.
Only
questions.
5.
You can get 5 questions when you ask if it's on the same claim, and you can't do more than 1 claim.
Exactly.
So you call, you wait on hold, you ask your 5 questions, but if you have a 6th one, you can go back.
So these are people that are being paid by our tax dollars,
Right.
and they don't want to help us.
Do what they want us
That
to
sounds yes.
Limit us to 5 questions.
do. Yes. And that's just ludicrous because
That's
if I'm
all.
calling about 2 different clients with 2 different, how am I supposed to pick which clients I need to ask the questions about? Because I got 2 different denials. I mean, as a small business, we don't have 9 billers. We have 2.
Right.
So it's very hard
We
for
have
us.
one.
There you go.
There-
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So how are we supposed to? Okay, you both have to get on a phone as soon as you hang up with this one. Call about the next claim. Like there should be some type of help or frequently asked questions that we can go to. You go to the website, and there is nothing there to help us as a provider to do what they expect of us correctly.
Exactly. You go to the provider portal
Mhm.
and you can get very little information on NEMT transportation.
Yep.
Super, very, very little.
And it doesn't navigate well. It's hard
No.
to go through. Even when you do the little search box where you can type in
Yes.
your question, it'll pull up everything broad about it, but
Yes.
you literally have to go line by line to figure out what topic. And then more than likely, your question isn't going to be answered
It's not
anyway.
answered.
It's a lot of hoops and loops.
I've referred to NEMT transportation as the redheaded stepchild of healthcare.
I could see that. 110.
Look at the Gainwell newsletter that
Yeah.
comes out every week.
Mhm.
If we get 3 lines in there, unless there's some major
Something big
thing,
going on.
we'll get 3 lines. Everybody else is getting paragraphs or
paragraphs.
pages or
Yep.
whatever, and yeah, we're just getting a little blurb.
Yep.
3 sentences and calling it a day.
Most of it is so vague it's irrelevant anyway.
Anyway,
Right.
to us anyway.
Yeah.
More than most of the time I've noticed too, they're talking about the 9 counties in Telluride.
Correct.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with us Southern
Yep.
Colorado companies, who are trying to figure out the basic knowledge that we're looking for.
And I'm happy you mentioned Telluride just because that's going to sort of open us into our new question, and I'm
Cool.
just going to jump into that. I apologize. Would you like to jump and harp on what we're...
And no, and Telluride is just a very sore point in our business.
Oh, I agree.
Very much so.
I
Very much
agree.
so.
And with that being said, what issues were there with the state audit of Telluride?
Let's talk about the audit first.
Let's talk about that audit. Let's do it.
I will say the audit did not go well. Anybody can go online and find the Medicaid non-emergent medical transportation performance audit, it's called. The last one that was done for Telluride that we're going to talk about today was August of 2021. That's when they were affecting all of our organizations. It did not work. It did not work across the board.
Absolutely
To
not.
this day, Golden Gate is still owed money for that, and they can't rectify it. And, I'm sure you guys had some of the same issues.
Exactly.
But I'm going to read a quote from a news article that I'm just going to say her initials,
Let's hear it.
AB, saying that it basically doesn't work. She says, by moving to this hybrid model, we received some positive initial feedback from advocates and stakeholders. She's even agreeing that Telluride didn't work. The broker model it failed. But the hybrid model, which we are currently in, where we are running
Yes.
independently, is working. So the same people who put in Telluride out back then are the same people who are now trying to put MediDrive. Are they trying to clean up their mess from the first time?
Yeah.
Are they trying to do it again to prove they weren't wrong the first time? Or are they just setting us up for failure? I'm going with the failure.
I'm gonna go with that one as well.
I'm going with the failure.
That would,
That's definitely it. I know.
they're not giving us any concrete information
Nope.
that says this time is going to be better.
Yeah.
They're telling us it's going to be better, but they won't give us any data to say this is how it's going to be
Yeah.
better.
Right.
How?
How is the important part there?
Exactly.
How are we
and
gonna
I
fix
have
this?
Right.
zero faith that,
Oh.
that
Or we're not going to go down the same trail we went
Exactly.
down before,
We're
where
not doing
we aren't going to have this issues. I know, like he asked the question of what were the problems. We went from 115, 120 trips a day to 18. How do we
18
send
folks.
18, 1-8 for one day? How do we turn away our employees to say, I'm sorry, you can't work today? Oh, no, you can't work tomorrow because we have 11 tomorrow. They're not thinking of us. They were going with the big companies, the ones who have 50, 100 cars,
Right.
and it's unfortunate because, like Kendra said, 27 years in the business, and
Right.
we got crapped on, basically. You know
Yes,
what I
we
mean?
did.
and it was the worst possible time to
Right.
crap on us too, because that was right in the middle of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we were already hurting with doctors' offices not being open.
Yep.
That
Closures.
we're seeing more and more telehealth.
Yep.
Especially we used to do quite a few mental health trips.
Mhm.
We've never recovered that number.
No.
It never did come back.
Nope.
Most of those are done, which you know what, cost savings wise, I understand it.
Yep.
That's fine. But they hit us with this.
When we were down
And
already.
they didn't just hit us with, they blindsided us with this.
Yep.
We had no idea. We get a call not from Hickbuff,
Mhm.
but from the Intelluride director,
Yep.
Bernie, 2 weeks before July 1st, saying, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be your boss, essentially.
Yep.
We had no idea it was coming.
Nope.
It
And all of the incentives and everything they were to give. Oh,
Oh.
if you have cameras, you're going to get that kickback.
Yeah,
Where we
talk
still
about a
haven't
couple-
got that.
not only that, we were getting dark. We didn't get the full rate for any
Oh my
trip that we
goodness.
ever made, and they wouldn't tell us why they were deducting. There was something in their contract which I never did understand,
Mhm.
that they could penalize us for various things.
Yeah.
But where did that money go? Did that go into their pocket?
Oh.
Is that why they were doing
Where
that?
is it? Yeah. Where is that
Or
money?
did it go back to the state?
Right. And essentially,
I don't think it went back to the state personally, but that is
you're
speculation.
probably right.
understand.
You're probably right. Also, a major failure was they were booking rides for people who didn't even have Medicaid. And then we weren't getting paid after we ran the trip. They weren't doing their
Yes.
due diligence.
Yes.
And so who pays that?
We don't get
We-
paid
We
We
don't.
don't get
It comes
paid.
right
No.
out of our pocket.
We don't.
We
We're
pay
lose
that.
it.
paying that.
And
For their mistake.
Exactly.
Cough it up.
their contract,
Yep.
I believe, and my number may be a little bit incorrect here, but I believe they were supposed to have 200 people in their call center,
Oh,
according to their contract. They never got anywhere near that. And the few people they did have, they couldn't keep
No.
because, let's be honest, call center jobs are crappy jobs.
Right.
Nobody
I agree.
wants to do that.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
they were.
we went up there
It's
one
a high
time.
turnover rate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went up there and they had a call center and there was maybe 15 cubicles in
Yeah.
it. 15
Wow.
cubicles.
Yeah.
And then the computer software, how many issues did you guys have with their computer
Oh, dear.
software?
My gosh.
Losing internet, not being able to connect, wrong addresses for pickups, wrong times. And then we had to do the cleanup for the clients of why their trips were messed up.
Right.
We didn't take the order.
Right.
We didn't take the direction. We didn't take the phone number or no
Exactly.
phone number. How are we to call to confirm? Like, isn't that
Exactly.
due diligence of our job to make sure that the clients are picked up at the correct time, get to their appointment at the right time, and are picked up and returned home safely? And how can we do that if they're not even providing the essential information we need to do that task?
And they would provide us with a trip, but not knowing how the valley operates and how far some of these distances are for us to go, they were not allowing us enough time. So we would have to go and rearrange that entire trip for the client so that they could get to their appointment on time, so they could get returned on their time, so that my driver could get to them on time. It was a constant thing with doing that. We were spinning our wheels with that, with Intelluride from day one until the last day that they
Oh,
did it.
jeez
And
Louise.
it wasn't just us.
Yeah.
Our clients, what were the wait times that you
Oh,
heard, Ashley?
hours. And
I-
they could only book 5 trips at a time.
Yep.
I was hearing 40 to 45 minutes, very normal.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of our clients have government phones.
So they have minutes.
They're
Uh-huh.
only allowed
Oh,
60
no.
minutes a month.
Oh my goodness.
And they were expected to, and older people aren't always computer savy. So
Correct.
yes, you could
Understood.
book a trip online,
While they're talking to 5 other clients at the
but
same time.
but they couldn't get online to do it, or they didn't know how.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they're burning up almost their entire month's worth of wattage to make one phone call.
And only
One
allowed to book
individual.
5
And
trips
only allowed to
at
bill 5
a
trips,
time.
right,
5
right.
trips at a time.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And then we would need to
Ouch.
try to rearrange that trip because the times weren't right,
Mhm.
because their addresses weren't right. So we
Oh.
would have to try to rearrange that. Unfortunately, we could not do that because they had wasted all of their minutes trying to schedule the appointment with IntelliRide.
Oh my goodness.
So I would physically have to send someone out to that person's house and hope we got everything right.
Wow. Just fingers crossed.
Yes.
And
Go to
wow.
find
I
'em.
got in
Yeah,
I got
exactly.
in an argument from somebody from Telluride, and I don't remember his name. And this was, we'd already heard that their contract was not going to be renewed.
Right.
This was 2 weeks before
Yeah.
July 1st, which is when they were going to be out.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, he's like, why didn't you pick this client up at the time we told him, which was, it's been a while, but I'm going to say like an hour earlier than they needed to be picked up. I said, because your pickup times are wrong. They're always wrong.
Yeah.
So we adjust it to what it needs to be
Right.
to get the client to where they need to be,
To be efficient.
and exactly, and fit in our schedule correctly. And he goes, you can't do that. If you're having a problem with our times, you've talked to it. We have talked to you over and over and over. You
Multiple.
don't care.
And when you emailed
Not
them
at all.
your
Yeah.
concerns,
Yeah.
it took forever to respond.
If
Or
they did it all.
if they did it all.
Yep.
Or days later after the situation. or
After the
trip.
fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
The
and-
communication was lacking. And I mean, we didn't have we had per se a direct contact, but she didn't want to respond. And if you confronted her with anything, we were always wrong. They were always right. But they never did what we did before.
No.
So how would they know?
And we had a HICPUF contact at the time that was actually, for me, fairly communicative.
Ryan, was his name Ryan?
I think so. Yes,
he was awesome.
He was great.
Ryan
Nice.
helped us a lot. He was a great contact to have.
But his hands were tied too.
He only could
didn't
do so
have.
much.
He had
Yeah.
responsibility but no authority.
Right.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
he did what he could, but it was yeah,
It was a mess.
it was a mess.
Seems like a
And
like a
I have
show,
a
don't it?
feeling that we're about to go down that road again. If that,
That's what it's looking like.
Ah.
I have no faith to believe that it would be any different.
I really hope.
There's no guarantees to anything that they're saying now. And I don't think they have any idea of what they're doing.
I agree with you.
So how can you tell somebody what to do when you yourself don't know what you're doing?
Right.
And this is a government agency that we're talking about.
This isn't Joe Blow off the street. This
No.
isn't none of that. No,
This
this
is
is
a
the actual
government
government.
agency we're talking about, and they can't tell their contracted person how to perform a job. But it's ludicrous. The whole thing is ludicrous again.
Goodness gracious, guys. Oh, it's like sometimes I just want to pull my hair out just because it's like we're
Infuriating.
trying to. Yeah, it is very infuriating. It's just trying to communicate and just get these issues resolved, but it seems like no one's hearing us out, or it's like there's a target, so to speak.
I agree with you.
And good. Sorry to go off of the off the wall a little bit. And this question is specific for the San Luis Valley Transportation Red Willows team. What impact will the state broker have on the rural areas in the state?
If it runs like it did before, and again, we have no way of knowing.
Yes,
We live in an area where we have large patches of area that have
8,500 square miles.
It's 8,500 square. It's almost the same size as the Denver metro area.
Think about that. Think
Yeah.
about that,
And
everybody.
we're covering it with, I think we're at 15 drivers
Yeah.
right now. So
You're running.
it's,
Yeah.
some days we were going very hard all the time. But the problem is there are areas where there is no cell coverage.
Mhm.
There are areas where Google Maps doesn't. We have large areas where they have been broken up and given addresses. Google doesn't know what they are because there's no mailboxes.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, Blanca, one of the towns in our area, for
Oh, yeah.
example, when you get off of the main road and back up on both sides, north and south of 160, there's no mail delivery out there. They have to go to the post office to get their mail. So yeah, Google has no idea where these addresses are, and some people are living in campers in a lot somewhere. And if you don't know the area, we know enough to, when they tell us this is where I'm at, we know enough. Okay, you're going to have to tell us how to get there.
Right.
Wow.
They're
People
not
in
gonna be able
Denver,
to do that.
people at a call center in Denver aren't going to have any idea. They're going to give us the address, and then we're
There it is. Yeah.
and
Good luck.
it's not going to work
Yep.
that way.
Thumbs up.
And
There you go.
yeah, and again, you get up into some of those areas and your cell phone doesn't work. The driver's in a pinch there because he can't call the client, he can't call the office.
Going
He's got to
around.
turn around and come back into cell service in order to call.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, this is
They're
if you
not gonna
don't know
understand
the
that.
area, you can't manage it. There's just no way.
And that's your guys' turf. And you
But
guys
for-
have all the knowledge of the neighborhoods, the back
27
roads,
years.
27
She's
years.
been here as the area has been growing and developing. So we
You
know
know your way
You're-
around.
You guys are tapped in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sometimes no, I don't know my way around still because there is such vast area of land that you may not see a property until you're right up on it because it might just be a little shack and people are living in that.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they can give you directions how to get there. Roads that we travel, just roads that we travel are insane. I mean, I had to get some four-wheel drives because in the winter
Wow.
you couldn't get to the roads. We have very little plowing.
I can imagine down
And
there.
Telluride didn't take that into consideration when they were scheduling an
Of
appointment.
course not.
Some of our roads don't get plowed until after 9 o'clock in the morning. And the back roads don't ever get plowed.
Ever.
No.
Ever.
Ever.
And it's the things we know. We know those things. We know what roads are closed. We know what roads are washed out. We know what the rain does to this particular road. So we're going to find a different way. They don't know that. Now, that different way may take us an hour added to our time, but at least we know how to do that.
And to navigate those terrains too.
Yes.
Wow.
They can't do that.
We have a client that lives on a road where you literally have to travel at 5 miles an hour in your car, or you will be bottoming out on a rock. It was cut into rock, so there's basically
Wow.
pieces of boulder that are poking up through the road. If you don't know that,
And you're
gonna
just
plan a
going
half
down.
hour for that trip, and you need to give yourself an extra 10 minutes.
Right.
Wow.
And yeah,
it's another
it
environment.
you'll literally tear the car up if you try to do it at a normal road speed. We have an unbelievable amount of gravel roads that we have to travel. And I say gravel, that's actually sand is a much better. Most of the valley is sand.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a little
How's
bit of
that
rock
in the
in there.
winter? Like,
It-
how much
it's
extra time
actually
do you have to give yourself?
Snow itself is not terrible. We don't generally get feet of snow at a time. That's the one blessing. We'll get 2 or 3 or 4 inches, that's okay and manageable.
Yeah.
But when the snow starts melting, that's when the road becomes a problem because it'll just turn to sloppy mess everywhere.
And you guys would know to add that extra time
Yes.
to make the trip more.
Well, and our drivers know too that I'm going back here. I better give myself a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
I better get a head start.
Even if we don't catch it, they know enough to catch it.
I better give myself a head start
Yep.
to go down this jagged road due to the fact that it snowed and it's all.
Yeah, and it's melting off, and it's going to be sloppy and mud holes like you wouldn't believe.
And see, that's a factor that many people would not take in consideration. They just say, "Hey, here's your address. Go ahead, have fun, have a day out of it." And then when it comes down to it, no, you're gonna have to go around another way, and you're gonna mess your car up just going down these roads. And it takes that local knowledge and the local people to know this, and to navigate that instead of somebody in Denver who's just dropping it off on
Yep.
you.
They're just going to the next call.
Yep. Boop. All right, you're good. Boop. You're
Yeah.
good.
When Telluride was doing it, I offered for them to come down and me to give them a tour of our area. I said,
Take notes. Take
plan on
notes.
being here a full day because it will take us a full day to get around it. And they're
Imagine.
like, what? Really?
They're like, this little
And
town?
then, of
Yeah,
course, they came
right.
up with a list of excuses that
Yeah.
why they couldn't come down to do it.
We offered, like Golden Gate offered
Disconnect.
them to come down to so they could see how we book our own trips and how our dispatch system works and why it wasn't working with their tablets and everything.
Right.
And we also got denied that
Yeah.
trip.
I even offered to pay for their trip,
Oh,
Wow.
to pay for their food, to pay for their overnight.
Take good care of these people just so
Yes.
we could have a little understanding and
Yes.
communication between the two areas.
Yes.
Wow.
And they flat said no.
that's crazy.
They know better than we do.
Really,
so-
Kendra? Yeah, hey.
27 years under your belt
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
transportation, and they've been open, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
But they do more than you, I
They
bet.
know more than me.
They know.
That doesn't make any
That's
sense,
ludicrous.
unfortunately.
That's just ludicrous. And I'm happy you guys, like I mentioned, I'm happy you guys are down here just to be our special guests because we
too.
don't get that input unless we would go down there and then, sort of go through that and, ourselves. But with that being said, it means a lot. So
Yeah.
thank you guys
Thanks
again.
again for coming.
Very
Most
welcome. And
definitely.
thank you for having us.
Yes,
no
thank
doubt.
you.
And
We kind of talked about things on other questions, but I agree with Kindra 100% with the report of our clientele, just because we have that relationship. I'm afraid of them being lost in translation and communication. I have a fear of us not getting paid. That's why House Bill, again, 63 is super important because we have that 14-day turnaround time, which won't be beneficial. I feel that they are going to give a lot more trips to the bigger companies
Yes.
or the
Come on, guys.
companies that are
Yeah.
already in certain areas that they feel might be able to do more than they actually can in reality. Those are some of my concerns.
Or like blue collar towns, like not a thing anymore. Hardworking people in blue collar towns don't get the acknowledgement you think nowadays, or it just feels like they're sort of trying to leave us in the dust a little bit, but that's
Because they
never gonna
have their
happen. That's never
favorite
gonna
big
happen. It's just
companies
yeah,
that they feel like, oh, well, they have 263 cars. So, you know what? They're going
Yeah.
to be able to do all these trips today
Mhm.
or whatnot. And I think they overlook the people who have heart in it. And I feel like San Luis Valley, Red Willows, and Golden Gate have heart in it.
absolutely.
Whereas some of these other places, they're in it for the money and they don't take pride in their work. And I feel Golden Gate and SLV do.
well, we had a lot.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of problems before where clients would call to schedule their appointment and
Yeah.
tell Intelleride that we were their preferred uh,
Provider.
provider. Thank you.
You're welcome.
and uh, and they would just ignore it
That happened to
and
Golden
send
Gate too.
whoever. And some companies, when we schedule a trip, we schedule both legs of the trip.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
if we're going to take them to the doctor's office,
Mhm.
we schedule them getting to the doctor's office, and then we already have a scheduled driver to pick them up and bring them back. That's automatically done. A lot of not maybe not a lot, but some companies
Yeah.
do a wheel call on your return, and so they get left
Oh,
sitting there for an hour or 2 hours, or, till somebody's available
Available.
to come pick them up.
Wow.
And that they're not very happy about that. We've heard of clients have called us and told us that they were taken from Alamosa area up to Pueblo or to Colorado
Right.
Springs or Denver.
Mhm.
They do their will call. Nobody ever showed up to pick them up.
How? That's crazy.
I don't
It's
I don't know.
horrendous.
It's not
Efficient.
no, it's not. When we send a driver out of the valley,
Mhm.
so whether it be Salida, Pueblo, Colorado Springs, wherever, that driver is with that client. They go and they're sitting there waiting for that client to come out.
We're not gonna leave you here waiting
No,
2
and-
hours
and-
or never gonna come pick you up. Could you imagine being that client and sitting there waiting
Or
for
when
a
it's
ride or
snowing
just
or cold
fingers
out.
crossed? Yeah, and all the
Well,
elements. I couldn't believe that. I
and
can't believe that.
the number of times I've had clients call and ask that specific question, it's like, no, 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 no. If you're going to go to Pueblo, the driver that takes you is going to wait till you're done and then bring you back. And they're like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Well, he may not wait right
With you.
there.
Yeah.
Be in town though.
He's not going to be more than 10 or 15 minutes away from you when he's
Yeah.
done." That's what we always tell our drivers. Most of the time, they're sitting in the parking lot by the time the client comes out because they've already run around and did
Yeah.
whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
But they're there waiting for him to come out. They get in the car and they
That's why you
back
have
to
that
the
trust
valley.
with your
that
clients.
exactly.
And that
That
builds
is
the
exactly
rapport
why.
that we
Yep.
have with them.
Yep.
It's more personal.
I don't know how many times we were called from a hospital or from a clinic saying that, um, well, San Luis Valley Transportation brought him to the appointment and you've just left him out and we're getting ready to close our doors and they're going to have no place to go. Come to find out, it wasn't us that took them.
Oh no.
It was
Ah,
another company and they failed to go and pick the client up and return them.
So then you would have to drive all the way from the valley to get
Yes,
We have done that.
yes.
We have
to,
gone to bail clients that got stranded out.
wow.
We have gone and picked them up.
It's a good company right
Absolutely.
there. And especially that it wasn't even like
you
your
dropping them
client,
off.
so
Right.
to speak, or dropping them
This
off. You
is our
guys really went out
this
of
is
your
our
way.
community. We'll do whatever we can. We have we've even taken clients that we knew we could not get paid for, but they needed cancer treatment or they needed whatever it was,
That's loyalty to your community
and
for
we
sure.
will still
Make
we'll
exceptions.
bend we'll bend
I
over
like that.
backwards to get them taken care of and do everything we can.
And that's what makes being part of the Southern Colorado community so like rooted and thankful for, just because we do have each other's backs
Yep.
out here
Yeah,
and
we
in
want
our
to help each
small,
other.
in our small little rural communities. So I can imagine just leaving grandma there and
That's sad.
Oh,
figure it out.
yeah. That's
Figure it out.
Or if they don't have a
serious.
phone.
Somebody else's problem.
Yes, and
You
they
know?
they have no minutes because they spent all their minutes talking to Intelleride to get the appointments in the first place.
Yeah,
And
it's the
here
truth.
we have someone waiting on us for 2 hours to get there to pick them up after they've been left, and
No.
the office is closed.
Picking up the pieces.
Yes, we picked up pieces constantly all the time.
We were like cleaners. We were cleaning up all the messes.
Yes.
That's how we felt.
Truth.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And I mean, we
And not getting paid to do that job.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. This is out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most definitely.
But you know what? We made the difference in for the clients, and they're not going to forget the good deed that we did.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
that's what matters.
110%. 110%. Ah, it's just, it just makes you feel sort of like, what are we doing? Like, why can't we just all get on the same page and just sort of just get this thing figured out and iron out these wrinkles? And like you mentioned, Kendra, you even try to offer, pay for the fares, come down here, you take some notes or whatnot, and it's still with the no, where we're not willing to go out of our way to help.
Because we don't matter.
Exactly.
Money is what matters.
Right. I'm a small, little, tiny company that doesn't matter anymore.
But you matter to your clients.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Matter.
Yes. And that's why
Yep.
that's why we're doing everything we can
Mm-hmm.
to keep going to matter to those people.
Yep.
And I mean, that's our whole goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Is the
Right.
people,
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
It's the people who need us, who rely
yes,
and depend on us.
yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Ah,
It's
it's just the realities of today. It's just like, really, guys, blue collar towns still exist. Blue collar people still around. Blue collar people still get the system going, and it just feels like being left in the dust.
Fortunately, I may be really wrong about this. My gut feeling on this is this whole system is costing someone a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a contract. They're paying somebody to provide this service.
And you're speaking about the broker.
Yes,
Okay.
the broker that does not know what they're doing.
agreed.
They're making a big bunch of money when that money could be spent so much more efficiently elsewhere.
Aren't they from Florida anyway? So why do they care about Colorado?
Yeah, right.
They're not going to know anything about us.
Just like in Telluride. They weren't from
No,
Colorado.
they were from what, like Michigan or Missouri or something?
Oh,
France.
France.
Oh.
Ah,
And Telluride is owned by Transdev, who is based in France, and
Okay.
they operate
So just down the
various
road.
forms of transportation on 5 different continents, and their stock value at the time I think was 2.1 billion.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's me.
yeah.
So they didn't care about us small guys.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
No.
of course
Oh,
not.
no.
We were just
And
a
they made
number.
that
You're
very
a
clear
pebble.
constantly.
Ooh,
You're
just
a
by the
pebble too.
relationship that we
Yeah.
tried to get with them, lack thereof.
You know, and back to what Kendra was saying as far as better use for the money, the state keeps saying they're trying to address issues. And the little bit of information that they'll give us kind of tells me that they're dealing with issues in rural Colorado, areas where they don't have coverage. That was a big one that they used.
Yeah.
Haven't heard it in a while, but that was
Yeah.
one of the things that they used to talk about. my question has always been, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Come back to the people that are
Right.
They
doing the
should be asking
job
you guys
and
about
asking
Right.
us, how do we fix this problem? If it's a coverage thing, get the ones that are around the area that you're having issue, who can step up and cover this?
Right.
You know, there's other ways to do this rather than tearing down these small businesses in your whatever, but in order to try to redefine business, it
Right.
doesn't need to be redefined. It
It's not
ran for
broken.
years
Yeah.
It's
fine.
not broken.
Exactly.
What are you guys fixing that's not broke? Like you
Right.
guys are doing the ones that are breaking us.
Right.
Agreed. Agreed.
With that being said, we're gonna have a little bit of fun questions. Just a little, change energy a little bit, something more fun. The San Luis Valley, what's the best place to get some food out there? Where do you guys? What do you
Which
like?
town would you like us to
And
guide
what
you
type
to?
of food are you talking about?
Let's do Mexican food. We're gonna have to do Mexican food.
Several places in Alamosa. I would say Nino's, Calvillo's, Lindo, Jalisco. Very good food.
Some good authentic.
We
Um,
have we do have a lot of Mexican food. I prefer Nino's has two locations, one in Alamosa and one in Monte Vista. I prefer the one in Monte Vista over the one in Alamosa.
Okay.
Um, I couldn't tell you
I get
exactly.
you. No,
why.
it's your
The food
it's
always
your
just seems
opinion.
a
Yeah.
little bit better there. Nino's would be my favorite, I think. But you're right, Linda.
Lindo,
I'll never
Jalisco.
get that pronunciation right. But yeah, that was a.
This sounds like a
that
good spot.
food was
Most
good.
definitely.
Yes,
Yeah.
We're gonna
it
have to
is
check it out.
very, very authentic. So you have to kind of know what you're doing.
Yo,
when you go in
what you
there,
walk in there, yeah.
because everything is very authentic. So, but yes,
It's hard to get nowadays.
very good food there. Very
Good.
good
I
food.
just thought I'll throw a little fun question in there. Yeah, have a little fun here too at the podcast
Not
too.
always about business.
Right. Um, Ashley, do you have anything you want to harp on?
I think we covered pretty much everything.
I
I'm
think
just
so too.
super thankful that you guys came.
Smooth ride with
You
you.
know,
Thank you for
had these
having us.
talks with us, and
Great.
I mean, I feel like we've had a pretty good business relationship over the years. So inviting you here to be a part of this and to talk about our bill, and thank you for supporting our bill. And I really hope that it does get passed so that us providers who care about actually the people can continue doing what we do and what we strive to do every day.
Yes.
Yes.
And just know we have your guys' back out here in Pueblo,
Appreciate it.
Colorado. And
Yep.
Appreciate it.
And we have your
Vice
guys'
versa.
back too.
Well,
I
Absolutely.
mean,
Yeah, whatever
do.
we can do to help get this bill passed.
Yes.
just,
So
Absolutely.
just
let us know.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's watching, if you want to contact us, we're going to put the bar down there at the at the bottom. Give us a call or send us an email. Any questions, anything. If you do want to be a part of a guest on Gridlock and Gridlines, that would be great. Just go ahead and contact us here. And then with that being said, thank you to our guests out of the SLV Transportation Red Willows. Thank you.
thank you
so much for coming.
Thank
You guys
you.
are awesome. Thank you.
From Pueblo streets to open skies, we're glad you took this ride tonight. A little support, a little light, turning stuck into alright. A Golden Gate Manor, carrying our lane, helping you through the real life strain. With heart we keep it true, helping Southern Colorado keep its wheels turning. Gridlock and Gridline, see you next time.